Tonight on CTV News, Park Board politics.
Why do we have this Parks Board? What do they do exactly?
The province reveals what it will take for Mayor Ken Sim to scrap the Park Board, and it could cost taxpayers.
It's a failure. We're dealing with people who can pose one of the most significant risks to public safety.
Is lack of funding putting the public in danger? How the system is handling the mentally ill who are violent.
Definitely a list like that would potentially help other landlords.
The province's plan to name and shame people breaking short-term rental laws. Reaction from victims who have shared their stories with CTV.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with one of the most dramatic pledges from Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim to abolish the Park Board. That was 2 years ago. Now the province has paved the way for the city to proceed, but there is a major hurdle. CTV's Rob Buffum has the story.
Vancouver's majestic parks one step closer to falling under the jurisdiction of City Council. Legislation tabled Thursday could allow Mayor Ken Sim and the ABC majority on council to dissolve the Park Board. But there's a big catch. Abolishing it requires the support of a majority of voters in a referendum.
This is the province taking a balanced approach and ensuring that the public has a chance to have a say.
I'm still thinking about it because the parks are very important to me. Very important.
Abolishing them, removing them would do that to reduce some of that glut.
They really don't do anything. What do they do? Do you know what they do?
Since 2023, Sim has championed getting rid of the country's only elected park board, an institution around since the 1800s. He calls inefficient and costly.
This change will ensure that our parks and recreation facilities finally get the care and attention that they deserve.
He'd hoped the province would greenlight the plan earlier and without a referendum, but the NDP pushed off the required legislation until now.
We don't live in a perfect world. We'll deal with the cards that were dealt, and we'll see, what options are available to us.
But Sim and his ABC party didn't run on the plan in the last election.
When the mayor announced this in 2023, he really had no mandate to dissolve the park board. So I'm really, happy to see that the province is affirming that the public needs to have a say in the governance of the city.
The Housing and Municipal Affairs Minister who tabled the legislation is former City Councillor Christine Boyle and critic of Sim.
What, politics? Look, I'm not going to comment on that. People can read into anything they want to. At the end of the day, we are committed to delivering world-class parks to the residents of the city of Vancouver.
Boyle told Sim the plan last night. His reaction?
It was brief.
Council can hold the referendum any time before next October's municipal election, or it could be a question on that election ballot. The city must pay for the cost of the referendum.
Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, shifting gears now, more turmoil within the Conservative Party and concerns over leaks to the media. Rob, today leader John Rustad admitted ordering a search of MLA's phones.
That's right, Jung. It was quite a bombshell here. The press gallery is sort of buzzing about this information. It was an admission that Rustad made during an unrelated press conference that he'd called. He was asked about these rumors, and he acknowledged that MLA's phones were indeed checked to see who might be responsible for leaks from the caucus room.
There was a discussion at caucus because of some leaked information, and everybody in caucus expressed some concern about that and said, let's deal with this today and now. So there was a discussion at that point to look to see if anybody had been putting information out in the middle of our caucus meeting because there was a tweet. Not every single MLA expressed interest, but the vast majority said, yes, let's do this, let's look at this now.
Rustad said that he had 2 MLAs who checked everybody else's phones, and there was nothing found that was of concern to him. The opposition, of course, were very quick to point out concerns they had with this type of protocol, describing it as intimidating and a breach of people's privacy. I suspect this will not be the last that we hear about this. Jung.
I'm sure there were some tense moments within that meeting. Thank you, Rob. The people responsible for assessing some of BC's most dangerous mentally ill patients are warning that belt tightening is now putting the public at risk. It's also keeping some locked up longer than they should be. As our Penny Daflos reports, there is a huge gap preventing some of them from getting better.
From Alan Schoenborn, who killed his own children, to Blair Donnelly, who killed his daughter and is now on trial for a triple Chinatown stabbing, to Tracy Chen, who dismembered her own twin.
Ms. Chen believed that if she did not kill her sister before her own birthday in May of 2020, that she would be killed.
These are just some of the people at the Colony Farm Psychiatric Hospital in Coquitlam. In a new report, the review board assessing whether those not criminally responsible should stay there says resource shortages in the past year now put the safety of the public and the rights of individuals at risk.
We are in a dire situation.
Forensic patients have no residential drug treatment options and few places to live under supervision after being deemed safe to leave the secured forensic hospital.
It's a failure. We're dealing with people who can pose one of the most significant risks to public safety if they do not receive treatment. And according to this document, there are many that are not receiving the adequate care and treatment that they need.
I met with the chair of the BC Review Board and heard about the concerns.
In a cross-ministry effort, the Attorney General is working to make hearings more efficient, while the Health Minister says the expansion of involuntary care beds is part of the response to those who are violent and mentally ill.
It's so important that we continue to build out this continuum of care for people experiencing severe mental illnesses, experiencing substance use disorders, and ensuring that as they leave the criminal justice system or as they leave treatment centers, that the supports are there for people.
The report carries a clear tone of frustration. It repeatedly points out many of the problems were highlighted the year before and worsened last year. Of course, there's even more belt tightening now as government grapples with a record deficit. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
A high-ranking RCMP officer had his first court appearance today. Assistant Commissioner David Taboul is charged with assaulting two people, one of them by choking during an off-duty incident this summer. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more from the Abbotsford Courthouse.
He spent almost 3 decades enforcing the law, but now Assistant Commissioner David Taboul finds himself on the other side of it as a defendant. Taboul's lawyer appeared on his behalf for his initial court appearance in Abbotsford Thursday. The allegations stem from an off-duty incident on July 2nd. Taboul is accused of assault against one person and assault by choking against another. Police say it happened at a public facility in the 2400 block of McMillan Road. What exactly transpired won't be made public until the legal proceedings have played out. And for now, all of Taboul's court appearances will be under a publication ban.
I think it's time for our justice system to catch up to the reality of the danger of these drugs.
Since 2024, he's been the federal policing commander for the Pacific region, making him the highest-ranking federal officer in BC and Yukon. He currently works out of the BC RCMP headquarters in Surrey. Last month, the RCMP said that Taboul had been reassigned and that a code of conduct investigation was underway. He's due back in court on November 10th. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Abbotsford.
4 young people have been arrested and charged after an assault in Abbotsford. It happened last Friday afternoon at Mill Lake Park. Police say one youth sustained minor injuries after being shot with a BB gun. He was taken to hospital. They also recovered multiple knives at the scene. A Surrey man has pleaded guilty today in connection to a 2022 shooting that killed one person. 28-year-old Bryce Dallas Campbell pleaded guilty to manslaughter in a New Westminster court today. He was originally charged with first-degree murder in the killing of 33-year-old David Goldstein back in April of 2022. Earlier this year, Campbell was also found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder from another incident in July of 2022. Police in Burnaby are once again reaching out to the public for help finding a missing child.
Kai's family in New Zealand love him dearly and are asking anyone with information to help provide that information to the Burnaby RCMP.
Burnaby RCMP have been searching for 11-year-old Kai Pavlovic since September 26. Speaking with Kai's family, police believe he's staying with a caregiver who they are actively trying to identify. RCMP are asking to speak with any parents whose children participate in sports and extracurricular activities with Kai. Kai is described as around 5 foot with a thin build and brown hair. Police in Vancouver are searching for a pregnant woman who walked out of St. Paul's Hospital more than a week ago and hasn't been seen since. 26-year-old Keegan Gambler has a shaved head and a butterfly tattoo on her neck. Police say she has a slim build but is visibly pregnant and needs medical care. Anyone who sees her is asked to call 911. They're expensive and have a high resale value, so it's no wonder e-bikes have become a lucrative target for thieves. A recent brazen theft of one from outside someone's front door was captured on camera as a thief used a grinder to cut through the lock. And this wasn't the only recent bike theft caught on camera. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has the story.
Sparks flew outside of one East Vancouver home. This all happening around 3:30 a.m. September 29th near Fraser and East 41st. Rocky, the owner of the bike who did not want to appear on camera, told CTV News while they heard noise outside their door, it was too late, the thief was gone, and their $2,000 e-bike disappeared into the night. But Rocky wasn't the only one whose bike was stolen.
People are able to cross those boundaries and don't feel bad about it.
Alicia Steinberger, who lives close to 39th and Columbia, says on Saturday, the same thing happened to her.
It feels very, invasive.
She says the intruder opened her gate, pushed through her garage door, smashed her car window and stole her dash camera, opened the garage door.
We saw that someone actually opened it from within.
And took off on her bike, which she caught on camera.
That was crazy to me that something like that can happen.
She says it cost $500 to repair her car window. While her bike cost $900, it also had sentimental value.
I bought it with my very first paycheck when I first started working.
She says after the first theft, a second happened an hour later.
They did rummage through some stuff,
but only came away with basketball shoes. While Steinberger is still picking up the pieces of the break-in, she says because of this experience, they're planning on increasing their security.
Obviously, we've learned our lesson now.
We reached out to the VPD, who tell us both parties have filed a police report and both incidents are still under investigation. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Police in Surrey say they have disrupted a significant drug trafficking operation in the city.
Following an intense 6-month investigation, police identified a large-scale, highly sophisticated drug operation, allegedly supplying large volumes of illicit drugs throughout the province.
More than 56 kilograms of drugs were uncovered at a home in the Guildford area last month. Nearly $1 million worth of property was also seized, including multiple vehicles, 2 jet skis, and about $54,000 in cash. Investigators believe the drugs were being supplied to communities from the Lower Mainland right into the Okanagan. 4 people have been arrested, but charges have yet to be laid. An Oktoberfest event in Vancouver has been cancelled, the latest casualty of the ongoing BC-GEU job action. The strike is having a huge impact on the people who import wine and spirits. Warehouses are full of millions of dollars of merchandise that by law can't be sold. CTV's Sinjin Alexander has more.
If wine, beer, or spirits are from France, Argentina, Australia, any place outside of Canada, they must be imported into BC by specialized companies. Then the booze is stored in massive warehouses while it waits for government approval. And at the moment, those warehouses are bursting.
You would see millions and millions of cases of wine and spirits and beer containers and semi-trucks in their loading and staging areas that they haven't been able to unload because they're starting to run out of room.
Because under BC law, all that international liquor can't be sold to restaurants or stores directly. It must pass through here first. the BC Liquor Distribution Branch, and it's behind picket lines.
They're completely held hostage by the system that we have to work with.
Businesses are beginning to panic because they've spent millions on products they can't sell and could go bad. Mom and pop stores are running dry and yet have already paid for liquor they can't get. And Vancouver's Juggler House Oktoberfest has been canceled. There's no beer.
I think any event trying to run something that will have imported alcohol will not be able to go as planned.
During COVID, booze was flowing because it was deemed an essential service.
To my knowledge, the government has power to deem certain services essential.
Why is the government not deeming them essential services now?
Now, the Attorney General brushed off that question and referred us to the Ministry of Finance, who in turn says circumstances are very different.
What I will say is that we're hopeful that we can come to an agreement at the table where it belongs.
This is the busiest time for liquor sales, what the industry calls OND, October, November, December. The union has taken down picket lines for a few days here and there in the past, but says the government took advantage of that generosity.
And I'll say the willingness of my membership to take down any lines as under the rubric of good faith is about zero.
And so millions of dollars worth of inventory remains parked. For every week of a strike, it takes about a month to get it moving again. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
ICBC is warning customers that job action by the BCGEU is impacting some driver licensing services. Road tests normally conducted at Service BC locations are being relocated to nearby ICBC claim centers where possible. ICBC is contacting affected customers directly with updated appointment details. Other services provided at Service BC locations, including knowledge tests and driver licensing renewals, are not available during the job action. Customers should visit an ICBC driver licensing office or a driver licensing agent for those services. A Victoria City Councillor is weighing in after the City of Vancouver's approval of a 0% property tax hike for next year. Victoria did the same thing a few years ago. It's a move the councillor says actually backfired and only ended up costing the municipality more. CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi has the details.
In 2020, during the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic, Victoria City Council decided to freeze property tax increases, a decision one councillor says left the municipality in a financial bind. It's still playing catch-up.
It essentially created a $4.7 million deficit. And that deficit has only been compounded in the last 5 or 6 years.
Councillor Jeremy Caradona says that deficit is now hovering in the tens of millions of dollars.
I think people need to understand that when you push pause on property taxes, all the costs that come to a local government don't just magically disappear.
Not only do they not go away, he says they also make routine maintenance more challenging.
I mean, our roads deteriorated more after 2020. It's not like there's just one project that disappeared. It's more like our ability to maintain our capital assets slowed down.
It's a stark warning as Vancouver is set to hold property tax rates. On Wednesday, Council approved Mayor Ken Sim's Zero Means Zero motion. It directs staff to find cost savings of about $120 million in next year's budget.
Unlike other councillors here who want to increase property taxes by 6 to 7% and make life more unaffordable for residents and business owners, we're being very clear that we want to make life more affordable.
Caradona says while he understands Sim's sentiment, it could backfire.
In my view, and having looked at the lessons learned for Victoria, is that it's not fiscally prudent to do these sorts of things. It's what we call electoral math. It's not good governance or fiscal prudence.
But exercising caution when there's a municipal election next October may not be top of mind for Sim. If re-elected, he says he'll commit to another 0% property tax for 2027. Isabella Zaffarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
And you're looking at a live shot of Burrard Inlet. It's 6:18. The sun is still out there. We did see some sun today.
We did.
It was actually a pretty nice day.
Yes, it was. We saw more sun than expected, which is always great. Right now we're seeing partly cloudy skies, as you saw there. Temperatures on the seasonal side of 13s and 14s across the board, with the exception of Surrey, 18 degrees right now, and in Chilliwack at 16 degrees. So as we head through the overnight, we'll continue to see a few clouds, 11 degrees as an overnight low. And then tomorrow we'll start off dry, cloudy skies for your early morning commute, but make sure you have your umbrellas handy because the rain returns in the afternoon, continues through tomorrow night with a high of 13 degrees.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And all eyes are on the Thanksgiving a long weekend, and the good news is it won't be a washout. Those details coming up.
It's a little bit vague.
It's a promise.
Okay, well, look forward to hearing that. Thanks, Ann. Well, food banks across the country are struggling to keep up with surging demand ahead of the Thanksgiving long weekend. As CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, experts say tariffs and high inflation are resulting in many more Canadians reliant on the service to put food on the table.
While Canadians prepare to put a turkey on the table, many are unsure if they will have the ingredients to cook a Thanksgiving dinner.
The demand for food banks in Canada has never been higher. In the month of October, we anticipate seeing more than 2 million visits nationally and more than 225,000 visits in BC.
Food Banks Canada says 1 in 4 Canadians are now facing food insecurity. So what's driving the surge in demand?
And the tariff and inflation is not helping that. And so Canadians are going to food banks to get their access to food, and that's just not sustainable in the long run.
A recent report by Second Harvest Canada stated that with tariffs alone, Canadians are adding an extra $1,900 a year to their grocery bill.
And so our money is just not going very far. And then when you add the geopolitics around that, there's just a lot that people can't control.
But some, including the Greater Vancouver Food Bank, are able to keep up. The food bank has large infrastructure, partnerships with local farms, and grocery stores such as Loblaws and Costco that allows them to feed thousands a day.
They now can donate it to us and we can give it out instead of letting it rot in the fields. So strengthening these partnerships has been the best way to combat all this stuff.
It's a glimmer of hope in a grim picture, providing families what they need this Thanksgiving.
Any holidays that keep coming up or anything that keeps coming their way, we will be here to support them at any time.
But when times are tough and sacrifices have to be made,
something's got to give, and usually it goes to food.
Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
Nearly 2,500 pounds of turkey will be on the menu at the Union Gospel Mission tomorrow for their annual Thanksgiving dinner.
Putting on a meal that serves 2,000 people, the planning starts like 6 months ago, making sure that we're getting in the amount of turkey, we're getting in everything that we need. So yeah, it is a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Volunteers were hard at work today preparing the meal, which also includes 475 pumpkin pies, 3,000 dinner rolls, and a couple hundred liters of gravy. This is the 36th annual dinner that organizers say is needed more than ever, with more people struggling to afford the basic cost of living. They say it's also a good opportunity for people to connect with new and old friends, as well as outreach workers if they're looking for help with sobriety. The Vancouver Canucks are gearing up for their season home opener against the Calgary Flames. We'll go live to Rogers Arena. And
the new legislation gives us additional tools, not just to take them down, but to implement monetary penalties and to name bad actors.
Name and shame. The provinces plan to crack down on short-term rental companies that aren't playing by the rules. When CTV News continues, stay with us. There are plenty of fall festivities to take part in around Metro Vancouver this Thanksgiving long weekend. From Canyon Frights to a Halloween train, we've got a full list of events to check out on our website on ctvnewsvancouver.ca. The Vancouver Canucks open their season tonight at home against the Calgary Flames. CTV's Kevin Chirac is live outside of Rogers Arena. Kevin, I can hear the music blaring. What's the atmosphere like?
Oh yeah, it is loud. It's a party here at the plaza. Still some fans out here, many of them going to their seats. Puck drops in just over 30 minutes time. But yeah, good energy, good vibes as tonight marks a clean slate, a new chapter for a team looking to bounce back, and fans are excited.
I'm very, I technically have been waiting for this, moment, for the entire summer.
I'm just so excited that hockey's back, It's it felt like a long summer. In the NHL as a whole, there wasn't many, transactions or anything, just a slog. So excited hockey's back, honestly.
I hope they can make a playoff and win a Stanley Cup for the city.
Dare to dream. 18-year-old first-round draft pick Braden Coots is set to make his NHL debut tonight, becoming one of the youngest Canucks to ever suit up. It's also head coach Adam Foote's first game as the bench boss. The team is coming off a campaign filled with off-ice drama, injuries, and missing the playoffs. But the players say that's old news, and they're ready for a fresh start.
I feel like vibes are high. I feel like, all the guys came to camp. We worked really hard. I thought our preparation has been really good.
And I'm in the zone. I'm trying to stay just like it's bring myself back. When you play, how do you get ready for big moments? So our group's ready. They're in the zone, and we're ready to go.
East Vancouver's Evander Kane acquired in the offseason, also making his Canucks debut. And tonight marks the 30th anniversary since the Canucks played their first season at Rogers Arena. They will be wearing the classic black skate jerseys. Puck drop gets going at 7 o'clock. Hey, John, we'll send it back to you.
30 years. Okay, thanks a lot, Kevin. Weeks after a CTV News investigation uncovered a scam on short-term rental sites, the NDP government has introduced a new bill making it easier to penalize the people behind it. CTV's Shannon Patterson now on the proposed changes to the law and reaction from one of the scam's victims.
So this is the second listing that they ended up putting on Booking.com.
When a fake long-term tenant illegally listed this furnished downtown Vancouver condo for nightly stays on Booking.com, he claimed it was exempt from licensing and registration, which is a lie. The housing minister has introduced new legislation to penalize people behind this and other short-term rental scams.
We continue to track and go after and pull down those illegal listings, but the new legislation gives us additional tools, not just to take them down, but to implement monetary penalties and to name bad actors.
The current legislation only allows financial penalties for hosts who provide false and misleading information during an investigation. The new legislation would allow the province to penalize hosts who lie while registering a short-term rental.
This is going to be really helpful. It was too easy to set something up on any of the online listing websites and get away with it.
Colvin Wong, whose partner owns the condo that was illegally listed on Booking.com, is also glad the province is moving to name and shame short-term rental scammers.
Definitely a list like that would potentially help other landlords. A list like that could potentially remove some of these illegal listings.
In the past few months, only one short-term rental host has been fined by the province in the amount of $34,000.
There has been significant enforcement in terms of removing illegal listings. That's been our primary action so far. And where we continue to see the same bad actors posting illegal listings, we will step up enforcement, and the tools provided today allow us to continue doing that work.
Wong hopes the threat of new fines will make short-term rental scams less appealing.
This is a huge step in the right direction for making things, not so easy.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Residents of a South Vancouver co-op are being welcomed back to their community after a multi-year relocation.
All of us were given the opportunity to return. And today I feel both grateful and proud that this new Ashimar building is beautiful and remains our home.
Residents are returning to the Ashley Marr Housing Cooperative redevelopment on the corner of Marine and Cambie. The new building features 125 homes from the original 54 from when the building was originally built in the early 1980s. The building also features 2 new adjacent rental buildings offering hundreds of new available units in the area. A happy reunion for a Port Moody family after their car was stolen with their beloved dog inside. We'll tell you what happened also ahead.
This is the joy that we are waiting for.
Relief and joy in Israel and Gaza as the two sides reach the first phase of a peace deal. The major unanswered questions that linger. That's ahead. A dashcam video has surfaced of a helicopter crash on a California highway, showing the dramatic moment bystanders sprung into action. The medical helicopter with a pilot, nurse, and patient on board plummeted to the ground Monday evening. In the heroic moments that followed, more than a dozen people, along with rescue workers, rushed to free one victim trapped under the helicopter. All 3 helicopter passengers were rushed to hospital in critical condition. Israel's cabinet has approved the outline of a deal to release hostages held by Hamas. It's the latest step in a plan for peace brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump. The prospect of a ceasefire led to celebration in the streets of Gaza. The first phase of the deal will see all remaining Israeli hostages freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinians being held in Israeli jails. Israel is preparing hospitals to receive the hostages once they are released, while Palestinians are hopeful they can begin to rebuild their lives once the bombing stops. But many questions still remain, with the more contentious elements of a long-term deal yet to be agreed upon.
When they disarm, whether Israel withdraws sufficiently to send a signal to Hamas that they can disarm. Those are the questions going forward.
According to the United Nations, there are an estimated 2 million Palestinians displaced from their homes in Gaza. A group of thieves in New York took advantage of the good deeds of others, stealing clothes destined for people in need.
You thought you've seen everything. Could you believe people would steal from a clothing bin and that they figure out a way to make money?
This video shows the suspects shoving themselves into the donation bins before emptying the contents inside. Police tracked the bags, leading to 16 people being charged. They're accused of stealing and exporting more than £500,000 of used clothes worth more than $500,000 U.S. Relief for a Port Moody family. They've been reunited with their dog after it was in their car when it was stolen. Also ahead, a giant in its class, one of the largest great white sharks in the Atlantic, has made its way to Canada. That's ahead.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
One of the biggest great white sharks ever found in the Atlantic Ocean has made its way from Florida to Atlantic Canada. His name is Contender, and he's a big one, weighing more than 1,600 pounds and stretching 4 meters from nose to tail. He was tagged in Florida back in January, and late last month, he was pinged in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, right off the Labrador Peninsula. Marine experts say he's gorging on seals to build and store fat for his return to Florida in the winter. One pup has happily been reunited with its family after being an unwilling participant in a Port Moody car theft. On Tuesday morning, the owner of an SUV stepped out of his idling vehicle when it was stolen with the family dog inside. The suspect fled with the vehicle, where it was later found empty in Coquitlam. Luckily, the dog was found by a Good Samaritan nearby and safely reunited with its family. Oh, I'm sure the owner is saying, I'm never going to leave my car idling like that anymore.
Especially with him in the backseat.
Yeah, I'm sure the thief maybe didn't even realize the dog was in there.
I'm glad they're reunited. All right, let's take a look at our forecast as we head into the Thanksgiving Day long weekend. We do have a low offshore spinning about, and that is bringing in some wet weather, moving its way in from south of the border. As you can see, the line of rain already moving its way through towards us. So through the overnight hours, things will occasional cloud over into tomorrow morning. We'll start off dry. We'll see cloudy skies for your early morning commute. And tomorrow afternoon, we will see some showers with periods of rain through the evening hours, continuing into overnight and Saturday morning. So it will be heavy at times for your afternoon commute. We can expect to see anywhere between 15 millimeters in North Vancouver, 11 for Vancouver and Richmond, less in the Fraser Valley, 2 millimeters for Abbotsford, and 4 for Chilliwack is expected, upwards of 15 as mentioned for North Vancouver. So you'll see a beautiful day for the northern half of the province. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen with a few clouds. 13 degrees for Port Hardy under a mix of sun and cloud. You'll see 13 degrees as well for Campbell River and Comox, but you will see soggy conditions with periods of rain. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 12 and 14 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, not a lot of sunshine, but you will see periods of rain and 15 degrees. A touch warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish at 16 degrees, 15 for Whistler, and for us across the lower mainland, a cloudy start, but rain in the afternoon through the evening hours. Temperatures between 13 and 14 degrees. We'll see anywhere between 10 to 15 millimeters of rain. It'll continue into Saturday morning, drying up through the afternoon with some sunny breaks. Cools down on Sunday with some light rain. And then for Thanksgiving Monday, it clears up nicely, 14 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Sunshine continues for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see 14 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacation. So don't be fooled tomorrow morning. It will be dry, but make sure you do have your umbrellas handy because it'll be a wet walk home or drive home.
Well, I have my umbrella now, but it looks like the Thanksgiving weekend's not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Monday's
Sunday.
The best day.
Exactly. Do the turkey trot. Does that still happen?
I think so, yeah. But we're having our dinner Sunday, so perfect. Monday we can recuperate.
Exactly. Take a walk. Work it all off.
All right. Thanks, Anne. Author J.K. Rowling posts a sarcastic response to the Vancouver Park Board's apology for booking a Harry Potter event. And the latest on Drake's legal battle with Kendrick Lamar, why a judge said the lyrics were not defamatory. That's ahead. Look at today's markets. The Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down $1, closing the day at $61.51 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $98 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones ended the day lower. The TSX lost 232 points, while the Dow Jones dropped 243 points. A day after the American Commerce Secretary said Canada must come second to the U.S. auto sector, Canadian lawmakers and car makers insist the industry isn't in danger. At a Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Canadian automotive groups tried to calm the waters. The head of the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association says Howard Lutnick's comments are just posturing.
We know that we need each other. We have an integrated supply chain. Canada is the most important market for the U.S. auto manufacturing sector. So we should expect these ups and downs through the next few weeks.
The U.S. currently has a 25% tariff on Canadian-made cars, with a carve-out for American elements in those vehicles. But the Canadian auto parts industry says their American counterparts are now lobbying the White House after some major losses this year. Following the Vancouver Park Board's unanimous decision to apologize for an upcoming Harry Potter event at Stanley Park, author J.K. Rowling has responded on social media. Rowling posting to her X account that the disavowal was not much of a blow, alluding to her not knowing about the Vancouver Park Board at all. Many had expressed concerns about Harry Potter, a Forbidden Forest experience, due to Rowling's anti-trans posts online. The Harry Potter attraction was put forward to replace the Brighton Nights fundraiser, with several commissioners saying they were unaware of Rowling's political activism when approving the event. A U.S. federal judge has tossed out a defamation lawsuit by Drake against his own record label, stemming from a rap battle with Kendrick Lamar.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Drake had sued Universal Music Group over Lamar's hit song Not Like Us, knowing it contains allegations the Canadian rapper says are false and defamatory. The label denied the allegation and says it's pleased with the ruling. The judge rejected the suit, saying the allegations were part of a, quote, heated rap battle that a reasonable listener would not take as verifiable facts. 2 world records squashed. Check out the pumpkin that's both the largest and the heaviest ever grown. That story just ahead. Plus, love blown up. Adam finds out how a love story seemingly made for the movies is even better than what Hollywood could imagine. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
It remains one of the most common forms of cancer in Canada. Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, why young people are being diagnosed with breast cancer, including men, as we mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also, Halloween safety tips, what the biggest concerns are for trick-or-treaters, and how to safely map out your route. Plus, the preparations for the annual Thanksgiving dinner for those who are really in need. We'll see you in the morning.
Blue Jays fans are still celebrating after defeating the New York Yankees in the American League Division Series last night. The Jays now return north of the border to face the winner of the Seattle Mariners and Detroit Tigers. Game 1 of the ALCS will go ahead on Sunday.
Ooh, exciting.
But there's a lot of Mariners fans. You're a Mariners fan?
Of course, yeah.
It's proximity, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just down the road, you got the Mariners, but now having the Jays and having the Vancouver Canadians affiliation here in town.
I think you're going to have to shift now.
I know. Break that jersey out of the closet.
Okay, a prized pumpkin in England has recently squashed a pair of world records. Twin brothers Stuart and Ian Patton have broken 2 world records for both the world's largest and heaviest pumpkin. Their gourd weighing in at 2,819 pounds, or nearly 1,300 kilos, with a circumference of 6.5 meters. The farmers have been growing giant pumpkins for the last 50 years.
What do they feed it?
And it has to be in a greenhouse. Yeah. Well, I looked up, remember the Richmond farmer we did the story about, Dave Chan? 2,088. So he has 800 more pounds to go to, to win the world record. There's hope.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
All right, Craig, what's coming up tonight?
We have a few things here, Mijung. So the first thing is hockey season has arrived here in the city, and CTV's Kevin Chirac will have highlights and reaction from tonight's Canucks season opener at Rogers Arena. But also tonight, we are following shocking numbers from the BC Coroner Service. New data shows nearly 5 people died every day this summer due to drugs. The report also found a spike in youth deaths this summer compared to last year. We'll break all these numbers down at 11:30. Mijung?
Okay, thanks a lot, Craig. Finally, Adam finds out how a pair of seniors went viral for falling in love, but discovered something far more meaningful on tonight's Sawatsky Sign Off.
If this were a Hollywood movie, it might begin with a wide shot of Jim Adams' art studio before cutting to a close-up and revealing the almost 80-year-old was a widower.
I figured, that was it. I'm done. I won't find anybody.
Cut to almost 79-year-old Audrey Coots, who was so happy being single, she was in the midst of canceling her online dating profile when she got a message about being overwhelmingly compatible with some guy named Jim.
Bingo. There was his face.
And what did you think?
Wow.
A montage might come next, featuring the art Jim made of her and him after they talked for hours every night for 2 weeks straight.
And it was just like, yeah, this is right.
It just fit. I thought I have to meet this man.
Which is when the comedy and romantic comedy would occur, when Jim forgot his wallet on their first date and 6 months later attempted to propose over a bowl of pasta.
And saying to myself, don't drop it in the pasta. Don't drop it in the pasta. Don't drop it.
You didn't drop in the pasta?
I didn't drop it in the pasta. I made it over the pasta.
But she did say yes.
She did say yes.
Yes. I had tears.
The movie's big climax would happen after the wedding, after Jim's son proclaimed it's not impossible to find love so late on social media.
As he said it blew up. And I said, was anybody hurt?
Well, just the opposite. After the story was picked up by media all over the world, from Oprah's magazine to a website in India, a lot of people were filled with hope.
Here's something that's magical that's happened for these people. Yeah. And it was.
And if this were a movie, the credits would roll. But it's not. 4 months later, Audrey was diagnosed with cancer, and then so was Jim.
When it says in sickness and in health, we both take that very seriously.
So they cared for each other tirelessly, loved each other unconditionally, and now, 4 years later, Audrey and Jim are not only healthy, they're experiencing a love far deeper than the superficial kind we see on screens.
We're happy. We laugh a lot.
I think it's great. It's wonderful.
And it really is never too late, they say, to find your real life happily ever after. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, White Rock.
Aww.
Great story. He's a talented painter as well.
Sure is.
Beautiful.
Amazing. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot. Fall is in the air in Westport, Ontario. Thanks, Nancy, for sending this fabulous photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. And they do watch from Ontario because that is her driveway.
Wow. We've got a national following here. All right, thanks, Dan. Craig's going to be back tonight with CTV News at 11:30.
Good night.